So just about to do my testing for this final week of my mesocycle. So I've got bench press 3 to 6 RM with a 9 RPE. So I think I'm going to go for either 107.5 or 110 for bench. And then I've got to do that. It was supposedly on squats, but I've taken them out. Helms has taken them out of the plan. So I'll be doing some leg press as well. You'll see how I do.
Who the hell's this guy? Just getting ready to go down to the gym.
Let's go.
Getting pumped. As you can see, I didn't do any footage of my warm-up sets. This was 110, I felt strong. You can see I'm just psyching myself up here. I just had Stormzy, Too Big For Your Boots, on loop the whole time, for the whole session. So just getting warmed up, psyching myself up, and let's have a look and see how I did. So the first rep went okay. This guy got in my way, he annoys me. 2. When you're actually doing it, it feels like it's a lot slower when you're actually there, but then when you look it back, it goes up quicker than you think. So I was pleased with that. I got 4 reps. Last week I got 4 reps on 100 kg, so 110. So here I'm just warming up in the leg press. It was a bit hard to try and find all the weight plates, and ended up going for 250 in the end. Previously I'd done 200 kg for 4 reps. Really psyching myself up, as you can see. Music's blaring. I do tend to try and get as roused as much as possible before these, and we're going to talk about arousal and the actual science behind that in just a moment. So really pleased with this. I was struggling. I felt my left hamstring beforehand, so I wanted to make sure it was ready. Managed to get 5 reps with 250 kg worth of plates on, so as you see, pleased with that. So I use the term arousal because that's what is used in the scientific literature. And Hull's dry theory in 1943, he hypothesized that those who had low arousal or low motivation or psyched up would have a lower performance. And as their arousal levels increased and got higher, so would their performance. However, there's another one, which is the inverted U theory, which we're going to look at now. So Yerkes and Dodson in 1908, we're going way back, over 100 years, actually had their own theory, and their theory was slightly different. And they had the inverted U, which you've probably seen before when it comes to volume and fatigue management, etc. And what they hypothesized was that if you had low arousal, you'd have low performance, but the sweet spot was at medium arousal level. If you get too aroused, then it would have a big negative effect on your performance. Again, these are just theories, and the other factors for this one, they looked at more multidimensional. So they looked at activity. Imagine if you was actually doing some long range shooting as a competition. Being highly aroused, would that have a positive or negative effect? Because when you're highly aroused, your heart rate goes up and your sympathetic nervous system increases. However, let's say you're an MMA fight and you're about to get punched in the face and you could be knocked out. Probably having a higher arousal level would maybe have a better effect on your performance. But now we're going to look at a few more studies and what they actually found. So now we're going to look at 4 studies, 2 which looked at psyching themselves up and 2 which looked at self-selected music with no music. So the first one was done by McGuigan and others in 2005, and they actually measured maximal strength and cortisol responses from a group which psyched themselves up and a group which didn't psych themselves up. They were looking at the squat exercise and 1 repetition maximum. However, it was done on a Smith machine. And they found that psyching himself up does not increase 1 RM performance during a squat in strength trained individuals. And there was no difference in cortisol levels as well. However, there was another study in 2005 again by Todd and others, and they looked at bench press performance, like I was on my video. And what they found was that psyching, those which psych themselves up may increase force production during the bench press exercise. And again, this is with those with at least 1 year strength training experience, and they're not ranked newbies. Now, when it comes to actual music this time, they had a group self-selected music and no music. And in 2012, this study by Biagini and others, they found that there was an improved performance in explosive strength. However, those which did have more self-selected music did have more fatigue, or they did perceive to have more fatigue. And the final study, which was done in 2015, the most recent one by Bartolome, looked at, again, self-selected music, and they found that they had better strength endurance, the group which had self-selected music. So there's some evidence for psyching yourself up, and there's some evidence saying that it didn't have a positive impact. What I like to finalise with is that everyone is an individual. Me personally, I need to get psyched up to a high level. When I was younger and I used to play sports, I'd purposely get myself angry beforehand or during the game, and I'd perform better. So look back on when you were at school, or when you were younger and you was in a competitive environment, and see how you performed when you were too over aroused, or maybe when you was chilled out a little bit. So another thing, what we need to look at is that this was just a 3 to 6 RM test. I was not in a competition, it wasn't a powerlifting meet. And even a powerlifting meet is not the same as if you was doing MMA and you had a world championship fight. Every different scenario is going to have different effects on you as an individual. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like, and if you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe. And let me know what you think of this type of video in the comment section.